Recorded? No.
Starting right now, we
No,
are
don't start now.
live. Yes, we're going to start a little bit early, get everybody warmed up. And so, Gina, I don't know if you've got the link. I'm going to send that to you again, but you are most welcome to join us. Come on down. The
I,
water's fine.
I'm learning things on a need to know basis here.
Aren't we all?
So,
Yes.
Michael enjoys some grace under fire.
She is full of grace. Grace. Hmm. But yes, she had, and she maybe stepped away for a second, but
She might have.
she
She had
kind of
time.
teed up. But
Yeah.
yeah, she may be with us, may not. But I want to say that it was the Hamilton. In fact, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and tee it up a little bit there. We're going to go to YouTube and
And I am going to get my resources back up here that I had.
okay.
There we go.
And tell us about your resources.
I've done some research on some of the trends to look forward to or to prepare for in
Oh, okay.
2021.
Uh huh.
So we've got some topics like the economy and technology. I think probably technology might be some of the most exciting.
Why is that exciting? I'm kind of curious.
Just kind of looking into the future, and I don't think that there's a lot of dependencies. There might be some things that are
Mm-hmm.
factors, but I think that they're going to move in a forward direction regardless to the dependencies. Where a lot of things, everything else, the economy and travel, there's a lot of
God,
dependencies.
that kind of, you got me excited. Dependencies, Grace. That is good.
Yes. So
Okay,
it
here she
depends.
is. Look at her here. My cats, myself, started van life. Isn't that a great cat?
I don't see anything. Are you doing a video share or?
Oh, that. Do I have to share it? Where did it go? Okay.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have to drag down just that one screen rather than the whole
So
thing.
just before we went live.
Hello, Gina. I'm looking at you again. Good.
Gotcha.
Oh, that wasn't her. That was the video. Yeah,
We're still not seeing it though.
but you will.
Okay. There we go. So this is Van Life with Gina. So wave 3.
She is unboxing. It's made by Olympian, it looks like, is the name of the company. It's better than swearing at it, right? When you swear by it. I'm going to stop a second. So it is a Wave 3 catalytic safety heater by Olympian. Why do I want to say Hamilton's in there somewhere? Just Wave 3, I guess, is what it is. So she's going to do some unboxing for a bit. And eventually, oh, I see. She's got some mounting
Oh,
holes.
she's going to literally install it. That'll be nice.
So yeah, it's not going to be on the ground. Okay, so I'll bump ahead a little bit. Ah, there it is on the wall.
Oh, it looks nice.
Yeah, the grill and everything, you can see it's good quality. Oh, what do we have to watch an ad? Don't make us do that.
Hit pause.
Okay.
Wave 3. Aw,
Look at the kitty cat.
there's a kitty,
The
kitty,
kitty
kitty.
said, I want to have something to do with this too. Make sure, she's checking
Hi,
to make sure
Linda.
there's no gas there. Linda Barker, good to have you here.
100% live and in the flesh today.
So to speak. We're
Well,
looking while we're waiting before the 2 o'clock hour California time, and Gina is showing us her Wave 3 heater, Olympian, and she's putting some gas bubbles to make sure that there's no gas leaks. Don't want any propane running around in her box van. And you can see it's starting to glow down at the bottom.
we could have used that in Bryce.
Yeah, I was, I was thinking the same thing. It was so cold in Bryce, and we couldn't run our generators at night, and we
Hello.
didn't have our Mr. Buddy, and we certainly could have.
Yeah, no, Mr. Buddy.
Lucky dogs here. Good
Hello,
for
Lucky
you.
Dog. Hello,
And
artsy dude. Good to see you.
yeah,
And
Anthony's
Bob's
here
Adventure.
also. Man, the show's come up, so I'm going to just have another minute or so. We're watching Gina's video because it's going to be wintertime. And look at this. She's talking about her Olympian Wave 3. Wave 3 meaning 3 kilowatts. They also make a Wave 6 and a Wave 8 for 6 kilowatts and 8 kilowatts. Kilowatts?
And you guys can
watts.
watch the full
Kilotherms.
video at Van Life with Gina. So make sure to check that out and check out her channel. Give her a thumbs up and a follow.
Gina's great. And I said 6K watts. I meant BTUs. So 3,000, 6,000, or 8,000. The Mr. Buddy's about 4 to 8, and they say it gets really hot really fast.
Alrighty, honey. I think it's
Okay.
about our time.
So this one, it sips a little bit. I just wanted to let you know if you haven't seen her video, or look at some others, if you have need for something this winter, the Olympian Wave 3 or higher number if you need a lot of juice. So, okay, that screen's going away, and we've got about another minute for showtime, Grace, and we've got some good people here in the room, and we just can't wait to get started talking about... Today we're talking about predictions. Yes, I'm going to have some curry, and we are going to have some good things to talk about. We look forward to your input also. And it is 2 o'clock, Grace. Are you ready to start?
It is 2, so...
Tee it up, baby.
We'll do it, the way we know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1...
Hi. And hi, I'm Michael.
And I'm Grace.
And we're California Travel Videos. Happy to have you here today. Grace, are you happy to be here today?
I am very happy to be here. We're excited about this conversation and these topics that we've got for you today. We did a little research. Some of the sites that we will be using, we've got linked underneath in the comments. But we're going to be talking about economy, technology, travel, RV life, and COVID, some of the things to predict. We're going to keep...
A handful.
Yes, and we're going to try to keep this just disclosure as much or as little politics as possible. We just want to talk about the things that
I'll drink to that.
We know are going to be happening and moving in a forward direction into 2021. So we look forward to you sharing your ideas as well.
I don't have any... oh, yes, I do. I do have a red and a blue.
A red and a blue.
Yeah, a red is, well, I got 2 reds. One red here is...
Easy.
That was easy.
Welcome back, Gina.
And then I've got...
I'd like to take a brief moment to offer my apologies.
In other words...
More sorry?
So we got some buttons for red and blue, but that's about it.
Gina, we were just showing your video on the Wave 3 installation, so... we're going to try to keep each topic to about 10 minutes or so.
Oh, come on, honey, 10 minutes?
So I'm going to be the timer, and
wow.
I'll be the one moving us.
The disciplinarian, huh?
Correct. But I did learn how to use my share screen. So I guess first up is economy.
Just a second. Join us. The URL is, I think there's somewhere where I could maybe make it so it actually... rather than written down, but you can copy and paste that if you want to come in and join us. We'll be waiting for you here. And so if you'd like to talk about predictions, maybe you don't have any predictions, maybe you just want to ask us and we'll wing it, but we'll give you answers. So one point I did want to make before we get started too much is that I guess next week we'd like to go ahead and produce more on this. So I'd like us to be able to feel that like over here you can see is another website, which is for...
Can you scroll it down a little?
I don't know if I can. If I hit F11, uh-oh, that was the wrong screen. I go down to this screen, and I hit F11. And there, it's down a little bit. And so there is a website. I'll give you more on this later, but it's rvlifestyle.com, and you can see it's the camping season predictions for next year. So we're not going to do that as much this week. I'd love to talk some about it. So I'm sure we got feelings on how does it relate to us on our predictions. So we'll get into that, but just so you're aware, we'll get more pithy next year. Does that make
Next
sense?
year
Well,
or
next
week?
week. Next
Okay.
week.
Next
Seems
week.
like it's a year
Next
away. Yes.
everything in 2020 is a year away.
Oh gosh,
So
yes. So okay, Grace, you want to start it off?
okay, I'm gonna remove your share screen here to start.
Okay.
So from the economy, I pulled an article from say it for me. Okay.
Aljazeera. Now you got me messed up.
Aljazeera.
Aljazeera.
Alrighty.
Who?
So
Aljazeera. There we go.
some of the bullet points and some of the dependencies that they had found were another $1 trillion stimulus, business rebuild inventories, and vaccines. So these are all kind of some of the dependencies. And one of the quotes that I pulled was, "The guessing game that the U.S. economics forecast has produced a massive split in predictions as economists from the Federal Reserve to the top Wall Street firms take a stab at the unknowable, is that a word? Unknowables.
Unknowable.
Like the path of the pandemic and the ability of a fractured Congress to compromise
Oh
on
my
spending."
gosh, Grace, this is a mouthful, isn't there?
Yes, but these are some of the dependencies. So when we look at the economy, and the link again is underneath the YouTube description,
Mm-hmm.
these are just some of the factors that come into play when we're
Oh,
trying to
boy.
predict. So Michael's got that hat on, and I'm sure he's got some thoughts.
I've got some thoughts there, baby. So
They're all captured inside of his head.
that's right.
He'll be sharing
home.
them.
So I guess generally is that some years they call it the beta, the amount of change of what's going on is less, and others it's much more turbulent. And this year has been turbulent, as we all know, and so obviously next year there's going to be some reactions based upon this year. I guess we know that a lot of money came out to kind of take care of the COVID-19 issues, a lot of job losses, as we'll talk about a little bit. A lot more people are like, well, I'm going to just get an RV and get out. So there's a lot more demand on what's going out on the campsites. That is, if you're going to a independent, state, federal, I guess if you're in BLM or dispersed camping, probably not quite as bad, which I think next year that's going to get more demand. A lot of us are going to go that way because we're more seasoned. We're the newbies. They're probably saying, I've got to have electric hookups.
We're going to talk about that quite a bit when we get to the travel RV section.
Mm-hmm. So, some of that's going on. But, as far as the high level, well, technology. We'll talk more about that also, but there's some things. Will 5G make a difference? Will there be more demand on cellular towers? What will we do there? Because we like to communicate, like to watch our YouTubes, don't we? So those will be factors. And then what's going on with COVID? Where do you want to start, honey?
So you're saying that all these fall into the question of the economy?
Yes, those will all be factors that not only affect the economy, but some of them, such as like the 5G issue, it could be some technology opportunities for some, maybe not as much for RVers. So some of these will have hot spots for us who are into travel. And I know, Grace, you want to talk some about foreign travel also. This is kind of what the predictions are. A lot of people, once the airline industry starts up, who knows when that is? That will be. But I guess that most people saying is that the economy should be getting better. There should be more people going back to work. The supply chains, China or wherever, are doing more manufacturing. And so we should be seeing some stabilization next year would be my first guess. What are you thinking?
My thinking is, on this, it's just kind of a wait and see. I think for a lot of us, Michael and I are very fortunate to be retired, so our income factors aren't going to change as much. So economy-wise, there's a lot that comes into play. So I think it's just a wait and see.
Yeah, I think that probably is a lot of it.
So, do you guys have any thoughts on the economy, where you predict it's going to go? Because it's not just us predicting. We want to hear what you think as well.
Yeah, if you have some thoughts, let's go ahead and bring those in, ask us some questions, and tell us what you think is going to happen either for you, your community, your state, your country, wherever you're at. And if you're watching this after the fact, go ahead and put them down in the comments. That's cool. We still like to, after the fact, still keep the engagement of the conversation with you. But you want to keep going on the economy some more, Grace? I can
No,
talk some
you
more.
know,
You want to keep
you,
moving on?
You can probably talk on every topic for quite a while.
Oh, that.
But I do want to go back. Lucky Dog did say, Michael, you have a great voice for radio. It's very clear and even toned, and you sound great. So we thank you for all that positive feedback, Lucky. That's really nice of you.
Lucky Dog. I've got my Heil PR40, back, oh gosh, I don't know how many years ago, back before the days we were live streaming, back in the podcasting days. Some of you may remember Leo Laporte when he was first getting into that business. He actually lives in my same city that Grace and I are in, Petaluma, California, go figure. But yeah, having a good microphone does help, and thank you for that. I'll try to focus and speak clearly and distinctly.
There, I had to give you back a little bit more room there because half of your head was too big.
Yeah,
It didn't fit in the frame.
I do have multiple screens to go on, and I think if I rather than use the Canon camera, if we go over here to this camera, I think that the Panasonic gets more of my head. Okay, there we go.
I thought it was Lucky Dog's compliment that gave you the big head.
It gave me a big head.
Oh, we love Petaluma too, hella. We hella love Petaluma. Yeah, all right. So let's go ahead, and we talked about technology, and that's probably the most exciting because, again, I really don't see there being a lot of dependencies. So from that, some of the bullet points are artificial intelligence.
Wow, artificial.
Otherwise known as AI.
Mm-hmm.
Robotics, drones, and vehicle automation.
Oh, those are a few of my favorite things.
Yeah. The as-a-service revolution, which I'm not particularly familiar with, but I think Michael has some thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
The 5G and enhanced connectivity. The extended reality, XR, virtual and augmented reality.
Yeah, I certainly know virtual and augmented, but this thing X, I've never heard called X. I guess that's a marriage between other types of realities.
Well, this article comes out of Forbes magazine.
Forbes, yes.
And their quote is, another thing that is clear is that today's most important tech trends will play a big part in helping us cope with and adapt to the many challenges facing us, from the shift to working from home to new rules about how we meet and interact in public spaces. Tech trends,
In public spaces.
Public spaces,
Okay.
like here.
Mm-hmm.
Tech trends will be the driving force in managing the change.
Wow,
So,
that's pretty pithy, isn't it?
yeah, so has anybody heard about any technology that's coming out that they're excited about? I'm going to share this screen. I'm going to bring it up for a minute
Okay.
on the technology and share screen.
While she's doing that, how about if I pop a couple thoughts in? The first one was AI, artificial intelligence. And yeah, major amounts is being invested in this area. Certainly it's got the United States' attention now that the Chinese are making more investments in this area and making some big leaps and bounds. But, we hear things such as, well, like these computers we're using. We encode our video signals. It goes out on the internet for you to see. But then the encoders, the processors that are in there, when they can have actually artificial intelligence, not only in the CPU, the central processor, but the graphics processor, it's allowing them to do some amazing things, Grace. And you'll see in this next year where the software working with the NVIDIA and other companies, their CPUs, is there's going to be some remarkable things. One of them that you probably be aware of is like you've watched some videos and you just can't hear the audio because there's noise in the background. And you can do some cleanup and post with noise reduction, but some of the new NVIDIA line, the Ampere GPU, which can take a look at the background audio, and Intel makes some software, and it's kind of like knock out the background noise in real time. I mean, like, that is a remarkable factor. But then actually to change the graphics on the fly. But those are all small potatoes when you start taking a look at a company such as Uber, which has always wanted to say, well, eventually we would like to have self-driving cars. And you know, today down in Arizona, in the Phoenix area, they're doing it now.
They are.
Yeah, they're doing it now. So you can call for a ride, and there's not only a driver who's just watching the computer anymore. No, the car is driverless. It comes up like, where's my driver? I don't know if you'd want to get in one, but obviously you don't have to. But yeah, they're starting to go from trial into production. So we're going to start to see this beyond some of these areas like Scottsdale and Tempe and some of these areas around the Phoenix area. We're going to start seeing those everywhere.
Is Google still involved in the automated cars?
They are. They have a spin-off company, and it begins with a W, and I'm trying to think of what the name of it is. But yeah, they also still have their place in the market, and I want to say way more or something like that. But yeah, they are there, and there's some of the, like Volvos and others, are starting to get into that. So, you know, that, and that's just one part of artificial intelligence. But some of the decision making that we do, where we can get assistance from our computers, and I think that probably there's some things you do today on your cell phone, Grace, where
there's a lot I do on my cell phone.
Yeah, some AI
Besides
that's
live.
finding there. So, artificial intelligence, you know, but how will that affect us? Well, believe it or not, there are some of the RV manufacturers are looking for having like solar and battery. You think, well, boy, it couldn't hold much weight. But yeah, there are some that are actually looking to see what they can do for self-driving cars, self-driving RVs.
Well, and even in the robotics, drones, and vehicle automation, I mean, we've heard about drones and Amazon. Is that going to become a reality? I do want to share a couple of comments. Hella Artsy Dude says, I did live and work in Mountain View for a while and saw the test carts driving around Palo Alto and surrounding areas a lot as far back as 2016. That's on the way back now.
Yeah, right, Anthony. And, you know, back in those days, you know, they wasn't doing fully driving in the Silicon Valley area, but they were doing the testing there. So Waymo and some of those companies that were the leaders in the industry, you know, how these things oftentimes get started is DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects, and they're used for military applications, so that if you can have Jeeps and big trucks, you don't have to have somebody driving each one of them, and they're just kind of following one another. So they had some invited industry, such as Google and some other companies, to participate. And, here's something on the iPhone 12, LiDAR. We've heard about radar.
LiDAR?
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
Is that going to detect when somebody's lying?
Oops, sorry. Don't mean to be too loud. That was a good one, Grace.
Well, you said LiDAR.
No, well,
like radar.
yeah. What radar? What does that stand for?
I don't know, when they get a ray gun.
Well, it's a range. It's the radio signal goes out and it bounces back an echo, kind of like what a bat does, but it gives the distance and also the location of where it's at, the elevation azimuth, and so doing it with a laser signal, though, allows you to get much more of a 3D representation. So rather than just knowing something's out there, a jet that's coming your way, is it friend or foe, is a whole other thing. But when you can get to where you can say, I can see the outline of the object, and you kind of know 3D is a signature of what it is, Grace. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. I think that kind of goes into play with some of the virtual reality as well, the 3D and everything like that, to make it as real as, actually being there. So pretty soon we can, instead of flying to go see our relatives, we can just pop them in.
Mm-hmm. And so you've got the Xbox by Microsoft and the Oculus Rift, which now Facebook owns that company, and they actually, their devices that are monitoring the game players, they can do that. But how about the iPhone 12, darling? What's going on with LiDAR and
I'm not talking about the iPhone 12 because I got an iPhone 11, I don't know, a few months ago, and I'm still making payments on it. So, yeah, we're
not talking about that yet. Well, the iPhone 12 actually has a LiDAR, and so it actually does emit a laser, and it watches the signal come back, and it can do focusing. So, on our cameras we have today, all the other companies, it uses phase detection or these other ways, contrast to the older ways, but now it can actually do instantaneous focusing.
See,
So
I told you not to tell me about that.
I know, I'm sorry.
This
Sorry.
is in the camera, and there's a very famous photographer. What's his name?
Chase Jarvis?
I know it's Chase. But anyway, Chase used to always say that the best camera was the one you had with you. And now Chase is saying that professional photography is just pretty much going to be a thing of the past.
Well, I don't think he was saying that, but Scott Kilby
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
was the one who was saying that, yeah, this is, except for the longer lens, is that the small phones are making such remarkable software. And we're talking about AI and software. And so, but getting on to robotics
Well, this
and
is
to
kinda
drones.
Cool. Just before we go on to that, Hello Artsy Dude says, yesterday I watched a rescue channel on the YouTube that uses 3D imagery for looking underwater and finds vehicles in the river. They can tell what kind of vehicle was there. That's pretty cool.
That is just incredible, isn't it? We think about, used to have the days where we have our wands where we're looking for ferromagnetic minerals, we're going in the sands at the beaches. But now it gets to be where they can actually see things in the water or do imaging. And this is a big deal for the drones. I mean, to do rather than a traditional laborious ways of seeing the dimensions is where you can use some of the electronic signaling and focusing to see what the dimensions and perspective of buildings are. But anyway, so it's like the DJI and other drones now, they're getting to be where they can recognize where a person's at. So we can be moving, maybe riding on a bicycle, and we can say, track that thing, and it just knows to track you, even though you're moving around left or right,
We do like
fast or
that.
slow. So
Yeah.
this is coming.
Yeah, Michael's got quite a few drones, and it's funny because I'm watching them kind of get archived back, from the first generation to where we are now. But I really like that because we've often thought it would be nice to do videos and have the drone up and driving the RV. But Michael pretty much drives the RV and he drives the drone, so I don't know who's going to be doing which one. So with the AI intelligence, I can just sit and enjoy it.
We can all sit back and enjoy, can't we?
Yeah.
That's where it is coming. So, but we'll see things that are more practical, like devices. As I've mentioned, things with our smartphones. We're going to start to see more where automation and also artificial intelligence. We will be making leaps and bounds next year and future. So these apps, stay tuned. You'll start to see things that are RV related.
Oh yeah, lots for the RV.
What's the next one? 5G?
5G is definitely one of the technologies that's going to be up and coming. I think China is kind of leading the way on that right now. And here in America, it's a company that I'm a little familiar with. It's T-Mobile because AT&T gave them a lot of money and that kind of kickstarted them and got them going.
That is true.
That was a bad
about four big
decision.
ones, $4 billion, and it didn't go through.
Yeah,
The Justice Department said no.
Even if it doesn't go through, we'll pay you money.
$4 billion. Hey, that's, just chump change.
Hey, it was just my bonus. No worries.
She comes from AT&T. But as far as 5G goes, is that, the other companies, AT&T and Verizon, are going to be starting to make leaps and bounds to try to catch up with Sprint, which, normally you would think Sprint, T-Mobile is like they were way back, but now they've consolidated. They've made a lot of investment in that area. So look for them as far as the leader. But that, truthfully, you won't be seeing that much if you're an RVer because these higher frequencies that are used, the signals only travel very short ranges. So if you're in an RV and you're out of the city, you're not going to be on 5G frequencies. You're going to be on 4G. Used to be, you only had the edge, the 3G. So don't expect that in the next year or two that's coming. Eventually, I suppose at some places, like maybe Quartzsite, they'll say, oh, there's enough traffic in the wintertime, we'll put some 5G there. But there is this one other thing. You can have frequencies as high as you are. You can have speeds as fast as you want, which is great if you're only communicating with other people in that area. But if you need to go to the internet, backhaul, then oh yeah, they need to have more capacity. They need to add to their traditional microwave towers to get it from the cell site to wherever it connects to the internet. So I wouldn't say that you would want to rush out and buy your iPhone 12s or your Android devices, Samsung maybe, right away.
Yeah.
Just hold on that because it's going to be quite a while, several years before it builds out, and it'll mostly be in the city. So if you're a city slicker, good for you.
Here's another side of technology. Artsy says, I have seen videos of where China has citizens tracking and also has visual stations that show people's faces for different reasons, like even public shaming.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of do that already, on some of the social media. It's easy to get pictures and get them out there to the public and let everybody become the judge and jury. Yeah, but that is a side of technology that sometimes has us all a little apprehensive.
Yeah. So just on that note, is that in a way you could say if you believe in a strong government system, we won't get into politics, but you say, yeah, let's make sure everybody, whatever the latest policies are by the government, mask, no mask, or whatever, they can have more artificial intelligence to help see who's wearing or not wearing a mask and make some decisions on whether they're going to do enforcement actions.
Well, that is what
We see it in vehicles today, don't we? If you go through like some of the places in San Francisco and you're going through a red light, they're going to be taking your picture and they're going to be sending you in the mail, your ticket, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew somebody that got a ticket. Oh God, I hate when you remember just a little bit, but I think they got a ticket in the mail, and it showed a picture that wasn't the person or their car, but it had their name. It was really kind of interesting. Somehow it got really mixed up. I don't know if somebody stole their driver's plate or what.
There could be that, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting back to the
Topic.
China factor, aside from the AI, is they have more investment in 5G, and they like to offer things very affordable. And so that has been deployed in Europe and the United States, but the governments are starting to think, well, as Hell Artsy Dude Anthony said, is that there is some suspicion when you have other countries, will they be eavesdropping and using it against the countries? So the company that is the leader in China is spelled HUAWEI. And how would you pronounce that? It's called Huawei. So if you heard of the company Huawei, is that in the United States, they are now forbidding the Huawei deployment of 5G, at least in the areas for where the computers are associated with the 5G. And that's starting to happen in Europe too. So I saw just a day or 2 days ago, I guess it is now, where NASA said, they wanted to have cellular on the moon. In like 3 or 4 years, they're going to have some robotic experiments and people there on the moon. So they said, the company we're picking, is it Huawei? No, we're picking Nokia. We're picking a company that is, in the heartland of America. So I guess some protectionism, maybe some concerns, but so in terms of the type of things that happen with 5G, you'll probably see islands. You'll probably see over in China, there'll be one thing, and then in Europe and the United States will be something else. So probably doesn't affect us. Like I say, if you're an RVer, if you're that type of a traveler, not. But if you maybe happen to be more cosmopolitan and going to a lot of different countries, you may have to have several phones if you're going to these different countries, you're in the cities.
Technology will continue to change. 2021, we look forward to what it has to bring, especially when it comes to more toys and more Amazon. I let this one run over quite a bit.
Well, we got Hella Artsy Dude does have a comment, though. I want you to pop that up.
Okay, let me go ahead and put that up here. So he says, when I purchase a phone card, depending on the price I pay each month, I get 4G for my first 5 gigs, and anything after that for the month, I may get knocked down to 3G. Yeah, that's pretty typical when you have the unlimited plans.
There's some of the unlimited. There's unlimited and other are unlimited. You got to be really careful with the wording, but we found that too when we had the Verizon plan, and I think we had 15 gigabytes we could use on our hotspot, 30 gigabytes in our tablet device, the iPad, and then after that, your speed will be slowed down. Slowed down to like a snail's pace, yes, like less than 1 megabit per second. And so, yeah, that's not very appealing unless you want to pay extra for that. So yeah, some people they'll go where there's another type of unlimited where could be subject to network controls if the tower is congested. So it all basically boils down to more money, more speed is what it boils down to.
Exactly.
Thanks for that, Anthony. That's a good point you brought up.
Alrighty, so the next topic, again, I don't think we're really going to spend a lot of time, but I came across this and I thought it was really intriguing. According to Google, the top 5 places that people are searching for as far as traveling, just in general, the number 1 place is
I wouldn't have guessed it. Maybe
Japan.
Japan. How about that?
Okay, so we've got Japan, followed by Italy. I think Italy may have some dependencies, as well as Greece, beautiful Ireland, and Egypt.
Top 5, huh?
These are the top 5 of where Google searchers want to go.
Where everyone wants to go who's doing Google. So those are the big search areas. Now, let's take a look at those. If you're doing international travel, Japan, you'd probably think, well, how about the COVID over there? I won't bring it, I promise. But yeah, they don't have as big as an incident. So I could see where maybe people would like to go there. Italy has had some problems, between March and July, but they seem to have mostly turned around. Now, there's always concerned with the, what is it called? The dark winter. It sounds like Game of Thrones, but no, I guess is that the virus pick up in this time of year. There's been some surges, but Italy is a beautiful place. But for some people, I'm sure that they'll be like, is it safe with the viruses?
Hey, Rayleigh, welcome. Glad you're here. The thing that I found amazing is what it says here is Google Trends show that U.S. travelers search for the following 5 countries the most when considering 2021 trips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised. I thought that Scotland would be on there because everybody would want to go see the home of the Outlanders, like me.
And this, I got a secret on this. Shh, this is just for us, nobody else.
We're going?
This is a secret. A different kind of secret.
Aww.
This is like if you're traveling, the HEPA filters that are on the planes will filter down to, very few microns, yada, yada. So you're okay when the engines are running. Now, in the days when I've been traveling, they don't have the engines running and the filtrations running until they get everybody on the plane. They're saving fuel. I think they realize and need to tell the pilots is that for our airlines, XYZ, whichever one it is, start the engines before anyone gets on, have the filtration where the HEPA filters are running. So if you find that you're going on air travel with the ultra low cost and they're not having the filters running, they're not having the engines running, you might want to have 2 layers of masks on. Or maybe just stay in the bathroom. No, I'm going to stay in the bathroom. Don't get in my bathroom until it's time to go.
Yeah.
But, all I'm saying is that if your safety and health are considerations of factors and you're going to be on an airplane and you're not absolutely sure, just be careful in terms of the airborne contaminants.
Exactly. So I see that Rayleigh Creative Travel is here with us. Welcome. And that's exactly what we're going to go into with our next topic is travel. Not just any kind of travel, but let me bring up the screen here.
Oh boy. Okay. What kind of travel you got?
We have got from Tracks and Trails. It's already that time to book your RV vacation.
Oh, honey, if they know that, what if they get the reservations ahead of us?
Honey, this article actually came out in June. We're a little late.
Okay, we can share it.
Okay.
Here's what you need to know.
So, according in June, RV Share disclosed that a staggering 650% increase in their rental bookings since April.
Ah!
They also shared that
650?
650%, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so that's not like doubled or tripled. Okay, they also shared that 65% of their travelers plan to visit a national park in the next 3 months. Okay, so
how many percent?
65% of their travelers plan on going to national park. So
In the next 3 months?
in
That
the
was in June. Oh, that was
that
June
was
for
in
the
June.
summer.
So that was, but this is
Between
also
then and
talking
now.
about 2021, booking for 2021, the summer of. They're saying you need to be booking that
Oh,
now.
so you're saying if they can go up to 6 or 9 months or a year ahead, they're starting to fill them up already?
Exactly. So here's the thing. When Michael and I went out in 2019, we actually were fortunate enough to literally go into Shenandoah, go into Acadia, go into Bryce, go into
Yellowstone?
Yellowstone. Well, we didn't stay in Yellowstone. We went through Yellowstone, but stay in the Grand Canyon.
Wait a second. We did stay in Yellowstone.
No, we didn't. We stayed right outside of Montana at the grizzly bear place.
No, the night before we stayed right in there. Don't you remember?
That wasn't in Yellowstone. That was in the Tetons.
Okay. That's her story. She's sticking to it. Anyway.
Just watch the videos.
Okay.
They're already anyway. Our theme was anyway the wind blows. So we really never made plans. I don't think we ever had a reservation one time, did we?
No, in fact, I'm just kind of pulling up is that right now we are, it's a good example. I don't know if this will focus or not. I may have to go to the other screen. But yeah, so we use the All Stays application. Oftentimes we would wing it. Of course, if you're doing it during weekdays and it happens to be when school's back in session, we were better off there. But when it comes to something where it's the weekends or the summertime or more people are not going back to work or whatever, that we have more demand on it, is I would have to say is that this would be an issue. Maybe this will focus here. There it
That's
is.
a little bit better.
Yeah, so
wait,
there's
wait,
like...
let me help you out there. There we go.
Okay, so there's the All Stays application, and you can see where the different places to go. And you pick one and you say, okay, let's give them a call. I like the reviews. And so you can do this online, of course, with Google or whatever you want to. But the point being is that the days of having last minute reservations may be where the Nisslers might be saying, well, we better go to more dispersed camping, BLM land, national parks, national forest, right?
Exactly, and learn more about some of the boondocking or the BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. Hella Artsy, he says, okay, so RV sales have been up, and he never purchased an RV, but I am wondering what the travel package incentives for the sales process are going to be responsible for getting parks booked.
The sales process are going to be for getting responsible. Well, okay, so we make our purchases, and even Camping World, I'm hearing this where their inventories are lower, and certainly back there in Indiana, they're trying to pump them out as quick as they can if they have people who are not sick and are able to go to work. But so the Reservations America or Reservations California, whichever the Reserve California in our case, for the state parks, is that you go to those and some of them, if they have 3 months or 6 months where they let you go early, you have to be there at that date when it opens up to try to get that reservation. And it's a shame if there's some bots that are involved, and here we get into AI again, where they're scalping, they're taking a bunch of them and selling them off to somebody else. That seems like the government's going to need to do something to control that. But typically the state and the federal governments are kind of getting out of that business. They're going to a third-party company to say, handle the reservations for us. Yeah. So some people, you can do like we did in Shenandoah Grace, is you wait till the last day and see, you get there about 1 p.m. when they open it up to people who haven't got a reservation, and maybe they have a couple. And maybe you get lucky.
Well, that can be really difficult too, because there's a lot of places, Yosemite is even one of them. To get to Yosemite is kind of off the beaten path. Mm-hmm. So it takes you quite a while to get there, just on a hope that maybe there's going to be an availability. And if there's not, you don't have a lot of really options besides paying a lot of money to stay somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Lucky Dog says that they just sold their road trek last week. I bet it went fast too, huh? And he already misses it. He's not ready to buy something else yet. Gonna wait until next year, hoping there will be lots of sales at a good price. I think you're probably onto something, because as people do get back to their regular life of working and coaching softball games and traveling abroad, I think that all these people buying RVs are just going to be, hey, honey, we're not using this. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. So I think that there will be a lot of availability. What do you think?
You are absolutely right, and I guess that I just want to go to a screen here, and I'm sure if you have a road trek, you'll recognize this couple, Mike Wendelin and his wife, and Jennifer, Jen, I guess she likes to go by the name of, and they had a road trek, and then when, I'm sure you know better than us, is it when there was the acquisition by the Heimer company, and so the Russos, they had the Heimer, so everything was going great. The road trek's a wonderful van, and then Heimer went bankrupt. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, who's going to maintain these road treks? And so 4 or 6 months a year, things, it was kind of spooky, but the market did start to come back. The Wendelins, they went out and got a Class C, so they bailed before it got to be too bad. But you get these market conditions. If a company that you think is doing great, but there's an acquisition, and then all of a sudden there's no money, it's a little disheartening, because we all, with our RVs, maintenance is a huge deal.
Yeah, and then going back here to the predictions, one thing I really love about road treks and even the the van life is the fact that if you don't get a reservation or you don't get a place for the night, then it's pretty easy to just stealth, and pull over somewhere and act like you're just parked and not in there.
Yeah, we like things like a level spot that
Yeah.
is safe. We like it. We can hook up our air conditioning or other
Well,
things. We have water. So, yeah, some days we have a backup plan, but we certainly, when possible, we like to have some of the conveniences when we're out there.
yeah, we're definitely prepared to dry camp, though, and we've done it before for a few days at a time. So it's not an issue being able to be self-sufficient, because we are. What's an issue is we've got to put our pull-out out to open the bed. So without that, like if you're in the parking lot at a Walmart or something like that, then our sleeping quarters become a little more cramped.
Grace, you have one. You remember that word itis it ends with?
Seatbelt up the back of itis.
Seatbelt up the back itis.
Seatbelt up the back of itis.
Yeah, in other words, if you can't put out the fold-up bed and it's got seat belts on it, try to get those buckles moved out so you're not sleeping if you're the person on the couch. So anyway, we've had some experiences, everybody has, but and so some people, I guess they're going to say, I didn't like Thousand Trails, I didn't think, or some of these other companies that are out there, but maybe Camp Coast to Coast or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to go for a membership campground because I'm just kind of fed up. And then it gets to be the same thing, is that how long can you reserve? If you pay for this fee, you can reserve like a couple months again. You pay more, you can have more months you can reserve ahead of time. And so there's no perfect solutions that we are aware of, or if they have them, I guess they're they're not telling us, are they?
Well, one thing I would predict is, school's going to be a big factor if schools do open again. But even if schools don't open, when the kids are doing the at-home learning, they need to make sure that they've got a good hookup. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of families out in what? Nailed it.
Nailed it.
You nailed it there. Remember we were talking about technology before? And once you have the barriers to entry broken down, once you have where people get used to using, begins with a Z, ends with an M, let's all say it, Zoom, that's what the teachers, so many are using because it's an easy technology to get going. And so, yeah, so when you have these things where you have ways that, like, say, in my Rotary Club, and I think most service clubs can't meet, but hey, we have Zoom calls once a week. And so once you get used to that technology, I'm sure that some Rotary service clubs, schools, it's like, this is working pretty good for us.
And then even people that work from home have to have a good connection to the technology.
Mm-hmm. In fact, Google came out, I guess, about 6 months ago and said there's no reason for people to come back ever. First, they were going to okay, through the middle of next year, but now they're like, if we could trust you for this, it's like, well, why do you have to come back? You think about it from a company's perspective. If you don't have people that are up there bending iron or whatever one does when they're at the office, is that you can say, well, I can cut down on my space, my rents, and if I don't even need extra telephone lines and the PBS switchboard. So you understand what I'm saying is that once you get into these technology innovations, that while schools will be starting back up, no doubt about that, but you might see people, I'm just going to watch the Khan Academy, Cell Khan. I can watch so many lessons there, and that works for me. So, yeah, these will affect all of us in the future by some of these breakthrough technologies.
Now, I wonder too if there's going to be, because there is more demand, and we've noticed it's driven up the pricing. Hopefully, that comes back down once things start to stabilize. But I'm wondering if more people who have property may be investing in making it an RV spot. You know, there's a lot of people out there.
Oh, man.
Even here, when I did the census, I was shocked how many back roads there are near us.
Oh, tell us about the census, Grace. You worked for the census, did you not?
I took a little temporary job because I wanted to do my part, you know. So, but nonetheless, I went down some roads here in town that I didn't even know existed, and these people have a lot of property, so they would make wonderful, you know, dry camping. They don't even have to put in electricity or toilets or anything. Just say, hey, come and park. So maybe there'll be more of that going on too. Maybe there'll be like a little underground network for it.
I have been reading this, and if you get the free RV online newsletter, they have been talking about this, about the opportunity for people to take land and maybe having electrical hookups, maybe having sewer, maybe not, but just having any level of infrastructure for the RVers, because as we've just been spoken about, there is a pent-up demand for places to go. Just on that note, I don't know if I told you about this. My Uncle Merle
What
in Bemidji, Minnesota, don't you know?
Okay.
But you know, he had a ambulance company and had some property there, as a lot of people do in Minnesota. It was right there at the foot of the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, I think we could have an RV park, not in his land at home, but another spot that he owned. And so, yeah, they actually had where they could put about 15 or 20 RVers there.
No,
I guess you would
never
call it
told me that.
independent. Yeah, he had independent campgrounds.
Does he
that
still
had
have that? I mean,
no,
is it still available?
no, it's not. I think they sold that off, but
It's probably been developed.
it might have been developed, or it might be that it still is that independent campground. But you're going to see more of this going on. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a pretty big backyard. It does go on a hill like this, so you would really need a lot of blocks to
A lot of block to level it up there, isn't it? We had it doesn't snow in California, except about 20 years ago we had a snow. It comes maybe every 50 or 100 years, whether we need it or not. And there was an inch of snow, and I was so excited when it happened because it's not going to last long. So I got out my Rosignol 203 skis, and I said, I am going to get a picture of me going down the slope. But it is a slope, so yeah, it's...
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you need something that is normally more level. Now, some people have the leveling jacks, the hydraulics, and some of us have the leveling blocks that we use. But yeah, having a spot that's not too level is also a big safety factor, Grace. Do you know why that is?
Well, one, your refrigeration, your toilet. You don't want things coming out. You know, you don't want your black
wouldn't be that
water
bad.
running inside.
Well, it wasn't that far off. But no, you're right. It's because, yeah, if you have your refrigeration turned on and the gas is not flowing, it could be a bad fire hazard. Not only could it wreck your refrigerator, but if you do have a severe slope, and I'm sure most of you already know this, but it's something I always have to be mindful of is like we're on a big slope. I'm not going to be able to get leveling blocks out for a while. Turn off the refrigerator for a while.
Definitely. Lucky says he's been seeing lots of full-timers picking a spot of land or something to use as a home base. And that makes good sense. Instead of like actually buying a house, just have a place that you can park for a while.
I've got it.
Yeah?
Oh, man.
Leave it.
Let's see if I have. How about if there happens to be some co-op arrangements, you, I, and a bunch of others start to say, you know, let's go ahead and start up a association. and make sure that it's on the up and up before you get into one of these. But if you have or you know, like, and trust somebody, some company, and they say, we're going to have kind of like a mini camp coast to coast or whatever, but it's going to be somewhat exclusive. Like, let's say, oh, there's some that do it now. The Escapees, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Escapees, but they have a certain number of limited campgrounds. But I can see where they're going to be interested in buying more now. They're $39 a year, and next year they're going to go up to $49 a year. But I can see where they would have other packages where they'll say for $349 a year, we have maybe 20 campgrounds that are near some of the great places you'd want to stay. And as long as you feel that there's enough opportunity to get into those, I'll bet you we start to see some of those adds up. So there won't be just the top 5 or so membership campgrounds. There'll be probably more of them popping up.
Right, and then we also have the ones like Harvest Host.
Ooh, yeah.
And right now the way that works is a lot of the golf courses or the wineries, they'll have a spot or
Honey,
two.
you forgot the breweries.
The breweries. I've seen quite a few different places. There's, like farms for growing strawberries, and they have 1 or 2 spots for people to park. So Harvest Host, I think, is going to be having a lot of other people join them in that commodity or as a commodity.
Yeah, it turns out, and I'm going to pull up a map here right now, harvesthost.com.
Yeah.
And on the 20, whatever it is, predictions we have for 2021, the next week's show, we will do more of that. So I guess we have it up on the screen there. And as you can see, let's go ahead and just zoom in on an area here. But you can see the different colors. I assume the purples or the vineyards. Use control and scroll. What the heck?
Control and scroll. I like that.
Control and scroll.
Make a
Oh, I
song.
see. Control and scroll. I see.
Control and
Got it. There we go.
scroll.
Okay. So we're looking around Salt Lake City, and I'm going to go up towards, yeah, there we go. Starting to get to
It
the
looks like
National
they're adding
Forest.
a lot more now.
Yeah, there's a spot up there you can see, but you can see some of them are surrounding like Yellowstone. You can see several. There's one with a brewery there, some breweries, and some golf courses. And what's this one here? Oh, I haven't logged in yet, but we do have a password for
We'll do that
But
later.
yeah, so anyway, the Harvest Host is one you talked about, and they seem to be adding every month. They're adding
Oh,
a couple
good.
hundred.
Good.
They're up in the many thousands.
Well, yeah, and I they may be in the many thousands, but the thing to remember is the availabilities are minimal. So they're only allowing. I think the most I ever saw was like 3 or 4 RVs.
Yeah, that's right. They're not for big time, but I mean, look at how many.
Yeah, they've
They
added
have
a
thousands
lot.
of them
Yeah,
now.
they've added a lot, especially on the East Coast. We're gonna have to. Can we go to the West Coast for a minute? Because last time
Sure.
that's one thing I was a little disappointed in. There wasn't anything really near us to
There
try.
are some. You might be surprised, Grace.
There's more now than there used to be.
Yeah, but here, so we are up by Santa Rosa, California, and you can see that there are up north of us that I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, let's try a couple when we. Speaking of 2021, when we make our trip in January, let's see if we can hook up a couple.
Okay. I think that's a deal. So yeah, that's a good. Thank you for bringing that up. We oftentimes use the others, but the Harvest Host, if you're looking for just one night, they encourage you obviously to help the proprietor there by buying a beverage, a bottle of wine.
Exactly.
If you don't want to play a round of golf, maybe just hit a bucket of balls or buy a sweater or some golf shoes or whatever interests you.
Yeah.
But
So it's not a free parking, as you do want to be respectful and it's a win-win for everybody involved. So we're down to about our last 10 minutes, and there was one more topic that we wanted to discuss.
man, you're doing great, honey. You are keeping this show moving.
I got to keep the ball running.
What's your last
What?
topic?
I don't know. I think I did
Probably
something.
COVID-19, wasn't it?
It is, but I was trying to get back on the screen, so hang in here.
Oh,
just
we
a
can
sec.
just wing it, I
No,
guess.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, actually, yours is in there, so let me remove that and then add this one. Okay, here we are. So, according to both Forbes and The Hill, the updates on COVID, per Forbes, predictions 2021, Asia Pacific will lead the world out of COVID, which is a great, great thing to look forward to. I don't think any of us at this point really care where that cure comes from, as long as we find not just a
Is
cure.
that when they say lead us the way? Is that what they're talking about? Is for, oh, it does say cures, doesn't it?
And
So they're saying vaccination, I'm assuming is what they mean.
either that, or the cure or vaccination, whatever it's going to take to get us past and get us out of this. Now, on the other side of that is from the Hill. Dr. Fucci predicts the pandemic will end in late 2021.
Man,
Now,
I guess that means the bitter end, not the start of the end, but the last of it. So
right.
we know it's not going to all happen in one day. So grace for you. If they say, well, okay, it's gone from 80% to 40%, whatever those numbers mean, would you say you're good to go, or would you want it to be less than 40% of whatever that 40 means?
It depends.
Is exactly right. 40% chance of catching it? No, you're still not going to go. If it's 40% of some other number is like, oh, I don't know, other than cases, there might be some other numbers of 40 where it doesn't really mean that big a chance of contracting it. So those would be some of the things you'd want to consider. Is it 40 or 20 or 10? But
Well, and the severity, I mean, it's going to morph quite a few times between now and then, I'm sure, and it looks like it's not as strong as it was, when it first came out. So those may be some factors that we look at in 2021 as well.
how about prophylactic measures, Grace?
You like tripping me up, on
No, in other words, rather than preventive, is things like a mask
Yeah, I
or
know
social.
what it
Those are
is.
prophylactic types
Exactly.
of things. So, sure. I mean, if we're more careful there, I mean, we're going to go out in about 2 days, isn't it? Now we're going to be going out to a state park. What's the name of it?
Um, I don't know. You told me three different
I
names.
know. I
so-
want to say Handley, and there's Henley, and it's like so. But there's a park about by Boonville. If you've ever heard of
Oh yeah,
Boonville,
no, is it Boonesville or yeah, it's
right by
Boone's
Boonesville. Yeah,
Farm.
no, Boonville is the city.
Right, but that's where Boone's Farm wine was made.
Oh yes, thank you for sharing that.
Strawberry Boone's Farm
Yeah.
wine. For anybody
Anyway,
that
up by
remembers.
Cloverdale, about 100 miles north of us, there's a Redwood State Park. And we're going to head out there for a couple days. We're going out on a Sunday, coming back on a Tuesday, and that's kind of nice. We don't have to get reservations a long time ahead of time. And this is still a great time of year, although it's starting to get to where, like Gina had, where you start to have the Mr. Buddy or one of these other
The Wave
to the
3.
Wave 3 or something like that. So if it does get cold at night and you can't run your generators and there's no electric hookups, then
Or we could always cuddle.
I was going to say, or we have to cuddle. That's right. There's
we
the
have
cuddle
to.
factor. Yeah, if worse comes to worse, we'll cuddle. But yeah, just on that note, so our Class C, it's 25 feet long, and we can go ahead and the couch folds out into a bed, and we have one of these nice Aero mattresses. It's
Yeah, it's
thick. I
nice.
mean, it is thick. And Grace learned on our last trip when we were going around the United States, do not invite your Siberian Husky on it. Because the
How
claws,
long did it last after
it
we
went
invited
from,
him?
in about 10 seconds, it
No,
went from this down to this.
Yeah, 10 seconds it was flat. But it was like, he didn't even jump up. He just went to jump up. And Michael and I just looked at each other like, did that just
No,
happen?
we didn't look at each other. I could see what was out.
No, but we were like, we didn't say anything. We just stared
I-
at each other as it went, shh.
And Grace learned not to ever invite him up again.
You did say okay, though. Just let
Of
the record
course.
record
Of
show
course.
you authorized it. You authorized the jump. You even said, okay.
That's the way she remembers it. So that ends that conversation. The next argument's a new one. So,
Right.
but the point being is that, yeah, we were able to get to Costco in the next city. They had more of the those Aero beds, and I guess they're around $100 for the queen size. And that thing is dynamite. You
yeah,
know.
it's nice.
You don't even have to have your generator running if you have a small inverter and you just go ahead and have it hooked up for about 20 or 30 seconds. Goodness knows we can never blow it up by manual. But yeah, it really does keep a comfortable night. And so we've gotten used to the drill. The drill
Oh, we have
is
the drill
to,
down.
one sleeping bag is open on the bottom, another one goes up on the top. Grace likes her extra blanket that she has to kind of wrap herself up. And so, yeah, we have nice, comfortable, restful sleep. And in the morning, zip them back up, put them away, fold it up, and we have a lot of extra room in our RV that way.
All
So,
righty. Well, we're winding down here. So you want to go ahead and fill us in, Michael, on what we will be talking about next week?
oh yes. So as we mentioned, is the prediction. So we're going to go back to the screen here, and I think that is this one. And are you going to do the screen sharing, or shall I, Grace?
For I have it right here. Let's
Okay.
see.
So I'm going to get up to the top of the screen here, and so some of these you'll recognize, and Grace, I don't see it up on the
No,
screen yet.
sorry, I don't have it.
Okay. So
It's right here. I got it. There
okay,
we
thank
go.
you. Okay, so you'll recognize some of these people, and I think that actually is that if I hit this button and I've got a circle around it, there's Chris and Sherry with Technomadia. You'll recognize them. There's the Wendelins there with two circles around them.
Oh, you just made that circle go right over these
I
guys.
know, I know. Okay, so I'm going to make a smaller
There
circle.
we
Sorry,
go.
and then right underneath them, um, Peter, and I forget his other's name. John, I would say with RV
geeks.
Geeks. Greeks. I got thinking about going to Greece.
They're fun.
But yeah, and some of these others you'll recognize, or at least you'll know the names of their companies. So it kind of goes like this. Let me erase that, and we're going to scroll down a little bit. And here we go. And so Mark and Trish with Keep Your Daydreaming. And I think actually is that we may have, I think they have some services there. I think I've worked with them before. And there's Peter and John, yes, with the RVers or RV Geeks, and they have been doing, of course, their videos. Also now they're the main host for the PBS channel on the RVers.
Yes.
And then Chris and Sherry with Technomadia, and we also have the membership for the mobile internet info. And Mark and Julie Bennett, they did a video. They were going to get big time into that, having a show.
Harvey
Kind of
Love.
challenging, yes, but they are certainly in it. And you can see Outdoorsy and some of these people that are in the, there's Harvest Host. Joel Holland, honey, he is the CEO of it. And they have 1,700 wineries,
Oh,
farms,
1,700
breweries.
now.
I didn't know they had museums. It says museums and
Ooh.
other unique
I don't know.
attractions.
Night at the Museum. I saw that movie. Sure.
You're good, honey.
All righty.
So, but anyway, I thought the thing that was amazing was some of these companies here. You take a look, and some of them are pretty heavy hitters. Some of them, like here's the RV Entrepreneur podcast. He's entrepreneurial, no doubt about that. And you start to see these names, and you think, well, man, who gets to go last? Who's at the bottom? Who would
Or-
you think?
I'd save the best for last.
Yeah, exactly. The people who show this is, in other words, they ask these other people all to come in, and then they get to take a look at, this is the best kind of forecaster, right? When you look at everybody else's forecaster,
And you close the
and then
show.
you close, you're the closer. And so Mike and Jennifer Wendelin then say, well, okay, here's kind of what everybody else says. And they really appreciated the other people. And there they are, RV Lifestyle, Mike and Jennifer, and doing a great podcast. And they got into the YouTube and obviously their online presences. So we'll talk about their top 10 predictions for next year.
We will.
Next week.
And what we will do in the interim is we will drop that site into the comments. So that way, if you want to go ahead and look at it in advance, we can discuss it when we see you 1 week from today, 2 p.m. Friday. And that's going to be on, let's see, if today's the 23rd, that'll be the 30th.
Oh, you're so good with your math, honey.
All right. So we look forward to seeing you. And until then, are we ready?
I think so. Thanks for joining the show, though. It's great to have you all here, and we're going to try doing this Friday time slot for a while, but I think, are going to change the time of day just so we can get more engagement towards the evening. But for right now, this is pretty good for us to get our feet wet, to kind of get used to the technology. And so
There
what
is
else?
one thing I'd like to say is if you have an opportunity, if you want to watch more, we invite you to join us. We will be in the audience listening to Traveling Robert. So if you want to go ahead and check out Traveling Robert's website, we will see you there. So until then,
Thank you. Good for that. Now I have one other thing too, but wait, there's more. And that is that we just got through with a show from, would you believe we're a year behind? But when we went around the United States, we're kind of back in the season again, so to speak. And so we just got through up there in New Hampshire and Vermont. And so if you didn't see our show that we just got a couple days ago, I think you'll enjoy that one, where we get to Sabbaday Falls, like the Sabbath day. Great place there. And then we went off and did some bike riding right there by the border between the two states, didn't we?
We did. So if you
Rails
get an opportunity,
Go ahead.
if you get an opportunity to watch, give us a thumbs up. Maybe share it with a friend, and make sure to hit subscribe.
And what's our next show, darling?
Our next show is going to be on a oh God, Michael, why
Norman Rockwell.
Thank you, Norman Rockwell. Rockwell. We really enjoyed his art and learning about him in a couple different museums. So come along with us.
Okay, I think we did it. Thank you all for being here. Have a great day out in the RV world or wherever you find yourself. And if you want to put some comments below, like, share, and all those good things. And eat your veggies. Be sure to exercise, work hard, be nice to people, and try not to get lost, hurt, or killed.
Happy trails.
Until then, happy trails to you until we meet again.
Happy
Peace out. Bye for now. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Oh, that'll get him to go to the next show. Okay.